Initiating moisture protocol.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. I just saw A Quiet Place. It's fucking spectacular. I just want to get right into this. Mainstream horror movies have sucked asshole for the last decade. Non-debatable. The horror movies have been so copy and pasted, so cookie cutter, just this overused fleshlight that's just been pounded by director after director, leaving you with the same shit every single time, the same load, basically. It's just so boring to see a mainstream horror movie these days for the most part. A few exceptions here and there, but overall, horror movies are awful. A Quiet Place, however, is a nice queef of fresh air. It's an interesting premise that's executed flawlessly. So the movie revolves around one family's struggle to survive against creatures that hunt purely by sound, so they can't make any noise at all, thus the title A Quiet Place. They're really good at hearing things, they could probably fucking hear your thoughts. They're really good hunters, so it's really important that they never make noise, and that is so fucking incredible to see on screen. And the biggest complaint most people have about modern horror movies are the stupid characters. They're always the dumbest fucking group of Neanderthals you've ever seen on screen. But in this movie, they're extremely intelligent, making very smart choices throughout the entire film. They live on a farm that they've outfitted with really smart contraptions and setups. They have a warning system if things aren't going right. They've put sand all over the fucking place, and they walk barefoot, so when you walk over the sand you don't make as much noise. They play board games using fabric instead of the pieces. They eat off leaves instead of plates. Everything they do is really smart, really well done, and I just loved seeing that. It was such a unique world to watch, and it was always super fun to see what kind of measures they had in place for things going wrong, or how they dealt with getting food, or all kinds of different shit, and it was really fucking smart. And the acting was phenomenal. That's not something I usually give a shit about, but even I was able to recognize how incredible these performances were, so that speaks volumes to how well they did. The movie does an incredible job of constantly building tension. Just when you thought you've reached the climax, you realize you're just getting started and it's about to get even more tense. It's so well done, there's some scares here and there, so it's actually a competent horror movie as well, not just a thriller. It's just so fucking good. I have so few complaints about this movie. The only complaints you can really make are nitpicky ones, such as how can they still have electricity, because obviously they'd still need a generator or something, which would make a lot of noise, and there's never really an explanation on where the electricity comes from. You'd also have other type of logical inconsistencies. Well, what about things you can't control, like a sneeze or a fart? They'd hear that and they'd immediately come. And that'd definitely be a suboptimal way of going out. That'd be fucking embarrassing. You died because your asshole burped. But the point is, if you go super deep into it, yeah, you can poke holes into the movie, but you'd miss the point. It's not what it's about. It's presenting this beautiful world, how they live in it, and all the smart decisions that were made throughout in order to survive. I will say a complaint that I do have that I think is a reasonable one is the weakness of the monsters. It's really obvious. I don't think it's going to catch anyone by surprise what their weakness is. And just really, I feel like that would have been the first means of attack the characters would have tried against the monsters. But still, that's not that big of a deal. You needed some type of way to fight them. I just wish they could have figured out something a little bit better. But that being said, it's still fun to watch them exploit that weakness towards the end of the movie when they discover it. Another minor complaint I have is I think the monster just looks kind of fucking goofy. It looks like Slender Man if he was a dog made out of blades. Not to spoil anything, but that's what it looked like. It was just kind of goofy to look at. It was still really effective. Like, it was a horrifying thing when you saw it walking around. It's like, oh shit, it's about to, Hulkmania's about to run wild up in this bitch now. But I just thought the design of it could have been better. It wasn't horrible or anything, it just wasn't super great. But the movie overall is definitely the best horror movie I've seen in theaters in the last decade, hands down. Absolutely no fucking contest. So let's plug this shit into the Moist Meter. I'm giving this a 90%. This is a really great thriller, a really good horror movie. It's just a nice breath of fresh air. It's just super fucking great. It really is worth seeing if you like horror movies or thrillers, whatever. It's just a fucking great movie. It's a short movie, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it does a great job of conveying a story without using a whole lot of words. You really understand the characters, even though there's very little dialogue in this movie. Such a great fucking movie. That's it. See ya.